We'll all be
Quite a
sitting
big
here
name, though. He's got 3.
ha ha ha. But in inverted commas, a big name. And I just think the fact that we never really seem to get one over the line is the thing that concerns me the most.
I think, so, sorry, Sarah.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna pick up on was this thing about the journey. I think actually, sorry. So where you said about we're fed up of being on a journey. I think you're right, but I think that only clubs that are not on a journey are Man City and Chelsea. They don't do journeys.
Financially, we should be with them, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
financially, we should be with them. If we were,
I don't think we can be. I don't think we can be.
Sarah. No one's with them. Who else is with Man City and Chelsea? No one.
PSG.
Liverpool,
should we be closer than we are, though? Should we
Man
be closer
United
than we are?
Man
yes,
United
we should be closer than we are.
Yeah, I think we should be closer.
Massively closer than we are. And it's because the reluctance to compete financially. Yes, we can't go and spend 100 million on Sancho, but we can do a hell of a lot more than what we are doing. And I'm not saying that we need to win the Premier League, which, you know what? Getting in the top 4, that is sort of a trophy. I'm probably going to get slated for that, but absolutely, we're going to play in the Champions League.
It is a trophy nowadays.
We've got a chance to go and win the Champions League if we win, I don't know, 4 group games and 6 knockout games, 10 games of football. You got a trophy at the end of it, and it's. I mean, I didn't really want to be in the ESL, but it's a trophy, isn't it? What we're desperate for, a trophy. I just want to be proud of my football club, and there's nothing about my football club that makes me proud. And I think even the manager appointment has sort of gone to that. And I think we'll end up liking him. I think he'll bring back football. I think he'll bring out the best in Reggie and Matt Doherty. I think we'll go I think we'll go a 3-5-2, something like that. Do I think Harry Kane wants to stay and play for him? I think I'd be wanting to go and play under Pep personally, but he probably wants that anyway.
Anyone would want to go and play under Pep. I don't think our managerial appointment has anything to do with that. Like my son said to me, he was like, I didn't even know it happened, and he, so have you seen the news? And I was like, well, no. Anyway, so then he said to me, so do you think that's Kane? That's Kane gone? Then I said, well, why is it? Anyway. What I mean, why do you think that appointment has actually got anything to do with whether Kane stays or goes? I think that, we as fans, we look at coaches from the outside and go like that. We all every one of us went, well, when Mourinho came in, he was like, oh fuck it, I don't like him, rah, rah, rah. But actually his management of Kane and all right, he's at a higher level in terms of world standing than say Nuno is, right? But his actual management and how he related to Kane and how he was able to to manage him and encourage him and sort of build him up. There's nothing that we could predict. If you look at say how Shaw's been treated, for example, or how Dele's been treated. So how do we know what Nuno's management's going to be and how he sells his vision to the players? Because as I say, when he first came in, they played some fantastic football with some great players. They got some fantastic players at Wolves. Yes, Sarah.
I will tell you now, had we gone from Pochettino to Nuno and not had Mourinho, Kane would not be here right now. He stayed another year because he wanted to play under Mourinho. Love him or hate him, there'll be players that love him because he does bring out the best of them. There'll be players that hate him because he goes, you know what? You're not worth the shit on my shoe. I'm not even going to look at you because that's the decision he's made. Blah, blah, blah. He'll have that. And I don't like it about him, but it's true. It's truthful. I don't think it's an inspiring step forward. Whereas when we lost Pochettino, I think as a player, I'd have been inspired to stay and give it another go. The same reason we shrugged him off and said, don't really like him, but he's probably going to bring a trophy. Banging, let's go for it. I don't think that Nuno brings that same excitement, and we don't know whether Harry's staying or going or whatever else.
No, and I think the reason for that, Sarah, is because Mourinho, he's been at loads of large clubs. So he's been at clubs where they've had the budget and also the heritage to just go and have to win things.
Yeah.
And of course, at Man United, he did win a couple of trophies, but he should have been winning the league there at United with that kind of budget.
Agreed.
So with Nuno, he hasn't been at a club like that. So Spurs are his biggest club. I'm not saying we're as big as Man United, but we're obviously a very big club with top 10 in terms of finances in the world. So,
Let's see if we behave like it, Because I think
well,
that's
this
the
is
bit
it.
we're all
Yeah,
waiting for, isn't it? I mean,
exactly.
it doesn't matter what manager we get if we're not going to back him and change the playing staff as the manager wants, not as the fans want, but as the manager sees fit, regardless of who's in charge. We're not going to go anywhere. And I just sort of think,
when will we know that though? Because the thing about like, I think with with some of the choices or the alleged links of managers, for example, that we were linked with since the appointment of Paratici. Okay, you've got the fans who go, right, that's blatantly Levy saying that. That's blatantly Levy's input. That's blatantly Levy. So if, for example, all the fans think that we should go and get Skriniar or I don't know, someone else, and we don't go and get that player, or what's that guy that's there's another guy that we've been linked with, that if we don't go and get those players, do the fans then think that actually that is a combination of Paratici and Nuno targeting different players, or do they still continue down the line of saying, well, actually, that's Levy's input, and he's not allowing the manager? So how will we ever know? How will we ever know that the players that we bring in are the ones that are the ones that the manager wants, or how will we know?
And also, we always see it from
as
fans. We always see it from a Tottenham-centric point of view, rather than from the player's point of view, who might be, say, Italian, wants to stay in Italy because that's where his family is. So he was never going to come to Spurs anyway. So
I don't really.
There's different ways of looking at it.
I mean, from a recruitment point of view, I don't ever really sit there and go, bloody hell, we must really have him. There's one or two players that when we're linked with them, I'd be like, yeah, it'd be really great if we can sign him. Jack Grealish, what was it, 18 months ago or whatever it was. There's players like that once we're linked with them and seemingly trying to get those deals over the line, I get frustrated when they don't come in. But the most important thing for me is, that as I said all along, a majority of the players are happy. He gets to tune out the good players that we've got that decide to stay, and he gets backed. And anything that comes now, it's got to fall at Fabio's doorstep. Really, you can't say Daniel Levy, because he's been given the reins to run the football club now.
Yeah.
Are you never going to attempt to say Paratici? Never.
No, I don't think so. Not anytime soon. So, I might just call him Para.
Just think of Parrot and Ticci.
Yeah.
Parrot Ticci.
There we go. Perfect. There you go. You've nailed it. So I mean, on that point, so with all the stuff and all the speculation and everything around Kane, at what point as a club do we say, right, we cash in?
Well, I would have thought it's going to have to be more of a kind of financial and strategic decision. So, for example, if someone comes in and says, right, we're going to give you 200 million for Kane, and we think, okay, for that 200 million, we can do this, we can get this, that, and the other player to fill those gaps, or to build a different structure in the squad, then maybe they'd do it. But I don't think they will, because in the short term, we're not going to replace a player like Kane. Maybe not even in the long term. But he's on a 3-year contract. So why would we cash in unless it was incredibly high? I think the money would have to do the talking. And I don't think 100 million would be enough.
I don't think so. And Sancho's just gone for 73 million. So that goes to show how low the market is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that with a 3-year deal that, the sort of money potentially that clubs are going to be offering are going to be any of the money that Daniel Levy's interested in. But if a big offer comes in and Nuno's got the choice between keeping him and taking 200 million, is guaranteed to be able to invest it in the playing squad plus whatever else he can raid, and he thinks that's the thing to do, then it's really sort of his and Paratici's choice now, isn't it? We haven't got any hearsay as fans. We'd have him forever if we could, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. And and I can understand if Kane's getting disillusioned, he wants to leave. That's kind of his prerogative. It's his career. But I just think I just don't think we're going to see him leave this summer. It's It just doesn't seem to make sense for him to
The
leave.
Sancho deals made me happy because I think that's United ruled out. Really, I don't think they buy Harry Kane as well, do they? They don't. I don't think they spend that money twice. So
No, I don't think so.
you've then got Haaland to go to Chelsea or Man City if you believe, the papers. So it's just less clubs that can afford him every single time one of them tick a big deal off the list, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's much easier for Grealish to go to City because
Agreed.
Villa, if they were offered 100 million for Grealish, I think they'd probably take it.
Well, why they don't need to take it either, though? I mean, their owners are loaded. They're another club that their owners
are
loaded.
loaded.
They don't necessarily need to take it, but with the arrogance of the media, all clubs need to sell to City, and that's it.
I'm not sure financially they need to sell him, but I think that the temptation would be greater because although he's a fantastic player, I think the ability to replace him and replace him quicker is probably more there for them than it would be to replace 35 goals a year from Harry Kane. But I don't think they need to. But I think the temptation in terms of if you were looking at it from a clearly footballing point of view, I think, they could feel like they could go and get 2 players to replace him and get the same output. Whereas for us, it need to be 3 or 4, I think.
I guess it also matters how much each player wants to move. If Harry wants to move but doesn't really want to kick up a fuss about it, then he's definitely not going to move. But if Grealish did feel that he wanted to go to City because it was a really good move for him, then maybe he would kick up more of a fuss. But
would he? I mean, apparently he wanted to come to us. He didn't kick up a fuss about that. So,
Well, I don't think he really wanted to come to us. It was just that the owners at the time wanted to sell him. It was only the new owners.
I think he was happy. I think he was happy to move.
Well, eventually it was because it was just being done, wasn't it? He was being kicked out the door because they needed the money because they had an FFP issue.
Right.
Okay. So where else do we want to go with this then? So, I mean, we're like obviously there was a guy that there was someone on Twitter that was talking about the appointment of Nuno and saying it was too late. That he wouldn't have, like, now that he's been appointed now would mean that he wouldn't have enough time to prepare for pre-season to start on Monday. I'm pretty sure. I think that they have, like, these coaches will have a set sort of pre-season that they do. I don't think they need to necessarily know the players per se to implement what they consider to be their pre-season from a fitness, from a physical perspective, and even from a technical or tactical perspective, because that's just really about doing physical work and then just people in areas of the pitch and doing that. So he's been appointed. Sarah, you're underwhelmed. I'm looking forward to it.
You don't look you don't look particularly buzzing off your tits though, do you, Steve?
Well, you can't see my tits.
You can't. But you're not excited, are you?
Are you still attached to your tits?
They're still there. Yeah.
They're at his ankles, but they're there. I mean, I'm not joyous. I'm not negative. But I'm not like, this is the world's greatest, greatest appointment. And the other thing that really pisses me off, I'm going to get to it, is you can guarantee the first question Harry's going to get asked in front of a camera is, what do you think of Nuno, rather than focusing on England. And that's pissed me off the whole way through. Oh, Harry Kane's off his game, he's distracted by all this transfer talk. Well, why don't you stop fucking asking him questions then, you fucking bellends? Like, and it's just the same thing, and it's just it's really disrespectful.
It is.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You are right, and that was that was actually my first thought. Once I knew about it, that the next press conference that he has to do before or pre or post the match on Saturday will be his reaction